So decided to do a small video on the whole cell fracture thing. Make sure the shortcuts are on for now. Okie doke. To make it work, make sure cell fracture is enabled, otherwise obviously you're not going to get access to the add-on. So I did this based off a thing from Stack Exchange of how to make a mosaic plane, and they went through various ways, but they all use cell fracture. So your first thing you do is you add a plane. You go into edit mode, you subdivide it. The more you subdivide it, the more bits you're going to get. So if we say take that up to 20, right, then select everything, E to extrude, and just extrude it down a bit, which I've been trying to use just a flat plane, but cell fracture doesn't like that. In fact, if we just delete that, and I'll show you what happens if you try to use cell fracture on that. So we'll set that to 20, go out and go object, quick effects cell fracture, say OK. That's what happens. You get, it always keeps your original plane, so if we hide that, some of it comes out straight, but others end up blocked, so it doesn't like that at all. So open up the original plane again, so again go in, just extrude it down a little bit on the Z axis so it's got some volume to play with. Cell fracture always keeps the original plane as well, so go object, quick effects cell fracture, make sure your margin is set to 0. When it first comes in, it looks like it's set to 0, but it's usually set to that. So just make sure it's 100% 0. Make sure sharp edges and that is off. Set your noise to whatever you want. I mean, the less you set that, it'll give different effects. So if we set that at 1.5, so you get that. Or if we undo that, and we set the cell fracture at a higher noise, you'll get a different effect. So if I take that up to say to 0.6, you see that's giving you bigger blocks. So object cell fracture, let's make that 0.3. Okay. Okay, so hide the original plane, and you just select one of them, A to select everything, and Control J to join it. Now you can see already that some of these don't 100% line up, and that'll be something we address in a minute. Go into the merge by distance initially. I'll normally set that to say 001 to start with, just to get rid of, just sort of keeping an eye on and seeing what it does. Okay, we can afford to, right. Now what I do then is I get one of these faces, and I will select coplanar, and I will play with this figure till I make sure all of the top ones are selected. And if not, I'll manually select them, and I'll invert the selection and delete faces, and that leaves me with just the top. Right, so, and then I'll just scale Z0 just to make sure they're all on the 0, because I don't know if cell fracture sort of knocks things out slightly. Right, but if you look at this now, you've got lots of points where they don't line up exactly, so again you do a merge points here now, and I'd actually increase this like that. And I'm not too worried about these things because I can delete it, but that gives me a bit more to work on. And then you can just select those and Control X, or just merge it last. There is some manual work involved here, it can't be helped. It depends whether you want to keep these in or not, but for things like that, I personally would delete them, because I'll merge last. I have that assigned to a hotkey of 0, so I can just press 0 like that. Because it's quicker. Control X is the same. Some I'll Control X. If it doesn't like Control X, then I'll use the merge last. You just basically, you can use C and just select tons of them, just bounce around, grab the ones that you want to get rid of, like this. You see that one doesn't like being get rid of, so that one. Oh, I've got too many selected here. That's the same, so here, looking at that, there we go. So this is not a one-stop solution, but there are worse ways to do it. By and large, you can just pick the ones that look like they're going to be a pain. And again, I'd go in now with these bits and do this. See how many I can get rid of with Control X. And whatever's left, merge to last. Sometimes I'll switch just for no reason. I just prefer if you accidentally select another one, just as long as you reselect the one you intend it to go to, then you're all good. That one. Say it's not perfect. It'd be nice if there was a way of getting rid of these edges. If we just save that. See, what I can't do is I can't do limited dissolve, because you can see what happens. It gets rid of far too many. So you can't use limited dissolve. That won't work. And I don't know if there's a way of selecting sort of redundant points, if you like, where they'd match more than one edge. Actually, if I select that, that's the point. Amount of connecting edges. Ah, connecting edges. What happens if we do Control X there? Woohoo! Connecting edges it is. Did not know that. Boom. Oh, that's, yeah. Connecting edges, woohoo. Okay, I'm just going to GX. Snap that to there to make it square again. GY. Snap that to there so make that square again. Likewise. There we go. It's not got all of them, but it's got most of them. I'm going to merge those two as well. Just making some decisions here. So it's missed these. But that speeds the process up considerably. Now, and again, I think I'll join those two. I'm just thinking, I don't want things too close together at certain points. That one can go, Control X. Are we happy? So there we go, we've got all of those now. I think I joined them as well. I don't want any tiny triangles at the end. Just GG, move that in, GG, move that out, GG, move that. I'm just looking at the look of it more than out. I don't want things too close together. So I'm going to merge those two as well, so that makes a bit more sense. Just giving myself a bit more room there. I don't want any tiny triangles. Okay. There we go. See now this, I think again, I want a bit more space there. Move that up, move that out. I'm a bit happy, I think I'll move that one a bit as well. I'm just sliding here where I don't like things. Getting sort of more of a overall. I'm probably being too finicky here in terms of how I want things to look. And I mean, because this is flat as well, I could just drag the points, providing I stay in top view. You know, there's nothing to stop me just dragging the points and altering the look a little, like that. There we go. I'm gonna call that done, sod it. Right, so select everything. I'm gonna go I. Just set up that to get the gap I want. Now what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna just move that down on the Z a tiny bit to give it a bit of an edge. I'm going to delete the faces. Select everything. Basically that was selected, so I'll select everything and then I'm going to select loops, and I selected the boundary loop there. I've got that assigned to a hotkey as well, EZ. Then I'm just going to go KZC to put a cut in the middle. Come out, Control 3, do Shift N. There's obviously an issue there with the end of that, and just shade that to smooth. And what you could do, I don't know if this will work, and go into point mode. I'm going to try this, it might not work. I'm going to Alt S. It does work. So I'm just going to fatten it out slightly on there. I'm going to turn off the viewport visibility here and see what's going on. Let's have a look at face orientation. Yeah, that's okay. Seems alright. Turn face orientation on. Turn that back on. And what's happening here is probably just something to do with the structure itself. So if I do a Control R there, Control R here, I can tighten that corner up. Same here, I could probably do a Control R there, Control R here, tighten that corner up. And then if you don't like these, wireframe mode, you can just select these points. Actually, let's turn off the viewport visibility for this to make sure. That's the issue. So I'm going to select these points here, and I'm just going to move them up there. I'm going to select that face. I'm just going to move it. There we go. There we are. And if you wanted to, you could select that, make that the origin, and then you could just symmetrize it. So go Alt X. Turn that back on. And there we are, there's a pretty funky Vornio style thing. I'll scale it on the Z and make it flat. That's a pretty hefty Vornio pattern. And that's it. So that's how I did it.